Good morning, folks. It's about dark 30 on Saturday, the 7th of October. Today I'm going to do something different. I haven't ever done a brisket in the pit barrel cooker. I've got a beautiful one that Texas Slabs hooked me up with. It's a point only. It's the thick part of the brisket. As you know, the brisket is a flat and a point when you get a full packer brisket. This time I'm going to do the point only, and I think it'll be a lot easier to fit in the pit barrel, and I think I can hang it kind of on its side instead of vertically, and I think it'll get a lot more even cooking. Every time I've done a brisket in the pit barrel, it's come out exactly spot on. I think this year, a couple years ago, I made a brisket and I brought it to work. This is going to be kind of my trial one for that brisket. So in a moment, I'm going to show you the piece of meat we're going to use. I want to thank you for watching SteenSmokeHouse. This is episode 57, I think. So anyway, it's October 7th, dark 30. Let's begin. And here it is. All natural USDA Prime, no hormones, no antibiotics. That's the way they always do their meat at Texas Slabs. It's already been aged. It's 9.3 pounds, and it's the point side only. It's the great, big, thick, beautiful, moist, well marbled side of the brisket. Even the fat cap side, this side, I'm not going to have to do a whole lot with this. I may not do anything with it. This fat cap is not real thick. It's just about perfect. In a moment, I'm going to season it up for you and show you that, and then we're going to fire up the pit barrel cooker and put it on.
I found us a little better cow diagram. The brisket is position number 9, right above the front shank.
I've already done the other side. I'm going to put a little bit, and just a little bit, of olive oil on here, and I'm only doing this to provide a little surface so our rub will adhere to it. I'm going to use pit barrel all-purpose pit rub on it since we're doing a pit barrel cook. That's the only rub we're going to put on it. I am going to put a little tiny bit of crystal on it just for color. This is a gigantic piece of meat. If you notice the way I hooked the hooks, I hooked them a hook here and then a hook in and through. And then I did it on the opposing side here, hook and then another hook in and through. This is going to be a real tender piece of meat, and I don't want it falling, and I want the hooks to stay secure, so double hooking is the way to go on this one. And a little bit of crystal, and I said just a little bit, and that's the limit. I'm just doing this just for the heck of it, and I know it makes a real good base for whatever rub I'm going to put on it. So there. Next, rub. Gonna wash my hands. Be right back. Gonna put a lot of this on here. This is a great big piece of meat. It's over 9 pounds, and it can stand a whole bunch of seasoning. But this all-purpose pit rub is good stuff. All pit barrel stuff is. That ought to do it. I know the hook placement looks weird, but it's got to stay there. It's going to be suspended from both hooks. Once I get it in the pit, I'll show you what I mean. Next thing, we're going to put our ThermoWorks probe in it, and we'll be done. This goes in the thickest part of the meat, so you're actually temperature testing the center of the meat. So I'm going to put it right through the top right here, and then it'll come through one of our rebar holes. Okay, this meat's done. I'm firing up the pit barrel cooker, and in a moment I'm going to hang it on there, and once I get it all hung on there, I'll show you the way we did it. All right, folks, it's Saturday the 7th of October. I've got the pit barrel all fired up. The ThermoWorks probe is in there. I'm going to try to get to a temp. I'm going to get to a temp of about 165 to 170, depending on what the meat looks like. Once we get to that, I'm going to pull it off, wrap it, and bring it up to probably between 201 and 212, depending on when it's done. We'll know it's done when it gets kind of like jello-y, but in a moment I'll show you the pit barrel cooker. It's all closed up right now, coming to temp, and I'll be back in a moment. The only thing that might happen, it's awfully cloudy out, which makes it really good to shoot in, but although the weather doesn't say it's going to rain, it sure looks like it may. So I don't think that'll affect our cook any. It'll just make it a little less pleasant to work with it.
Special shout out to Lasse's Food and Barbecue in Sweden, Elton's Barbecue in Norway, Russ's Smoky Ribs, T-Roy Cooks, Christy's Cooking Channel, and Greg at Ballistic BBQ. You guys inspire me a lot, and I appreciate all you do.
So we've got it hung right about in the middle. ThermoWorks cables running out the rebar hole. This is actually a beautiful piece of meat. It fit right in there like it's supposed to. I've never cooked just a point before by itself, so this ought to be kind of interesting. I didn't really have to trim this. In fact, I didn't put a knife on this piece of meat at all. Before I got it from Texas Slabs, they'd already trimmed it up. There's no excess fat on it. That one little fat layer that you saw in there, that was soft fat. It's not the kind of big, hard, rock-like fat that we cut off. So anyway, I'm going to cover it up and let it roll. Our brisket's been on pretty much exactly 2 hours. I'm going to use the ThermoWorks probe and check the temp. .148. Woo, tender. Our outside unit says 143. Our inside unit says 143. This is the ThermoWorks smoke. I've used it before. I really like it. It works great. And I just verified with the Thermapen. It reads a little bit differently because depending on where you have it in the meat, I've got our probe pretty much dead center of the meat where it's picking up hopefully the coldest temp of the meat. So what we're doing is trying to get the internal temp up to about 165, 170, or when it's done. The or when it's done is the key part. So 11 o'clock. I still probably have 3 or 4 hours of this cooked. Be back with you soon.
This is what's called the stall. We've been at 158.9 degrees for probably an hour and a half now. The stall occurs when the inside temp of the whatever you're cooking with and the inside temp of the meat are pretty much identical and neither one moves. So the grill is going to win. It's going to heat up and the meat is going to have to succumb to the heat. But sometimes it gets stuck like that and it's nothing to be alarmed about. Don't take it off. Just let it ride through it and keep on going.
This thing's looking gorgeous. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm going to spritz it again. It just got out of the stall, but it only got out of about 2 degrees. Well, I haven't seen this brisket in a couple hours, so let's see how it turned out. Smells great. Oh yeah. I love this butcher paper foil thing. Oh my goodness. Let me get these hooks out of it and I'll put it on the cutting board and we'll see what we got.
I actually put the pit barrel grill inside the pit barrel, and then after I wrapped up the meat with butcher paper and foil, I set it on top there. I wouldn't focus too much on the temp anymore once it gets past wherever you want it to be, because we're really trying to shoot for the consistency which we got, and that might occur anywhere from 200 to 220, anywhere in there. This particular one landed about 212, and it came out absolutely perfect.
Okay, let's see. I think I'll cut it open here first. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, there's just no bad place in this brisket. This thing is so tender. It's so tender and juicy, I can't even pick it up. It's just... Here, let me see if I can show you. There we go. think this is actually the best brisket I've ever cooked, and I cooked it in the pit barrel cooker, so it wasn't anything real fancy, but if you see that consistency, that jello thing we want, man, this has got it all. It's got the bark, and I wrapped it too. And a lot of people say if you wrap it, you don't get the bark. I think you actually do. So, oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, this is so good. All right, I'm gonna make some sandwiches, and I'll be right back. I can honestly say that I've never had brisket like this before. Every bit of it is just full of juice. It's so tender. It was almost impossible to get it like plated like this. If you look at it, it's just exuding goodness, and gosh, this thing's so good. This is a USDA Prime point, and this was only about $3-something a pound. This is the best brisket I've ever had, and I've cooked a bunch of them. I've eaten a bunch of them, and I'll tell you what, folks, this one really is over the top. You can see where all the fat rendered down and all that stuff. That's where all the fat was, and now it's just kind of melted into the meat, and it's delicious. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching SteenSmokeHouse. I'll see you next time.